Okay guys, we're back with part 2. So we're going to go through the normals for Johnny, and just so we're clear on my terminology, stand, so I use 1, 2, 3, 4 to notify each button. Everybody does, so get used to that now, just because it's universal. So front punch is 1, back punch is 2, front kick is 3, back kick is 4. So that's X, Y, A, B on Xbox, and square, triangle, X, circle on PlayStation. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to go through each button and kind of go over what types of situations you'd want to use it in. So we'll start with stand 1. It's 9 frames. Gives pretty good block advantage, so you can do lots of good pressuring with this. It's as fast as high, but it's at 9 frames, which is also, his stand 2 is also 9 frames, but you're going to be using this one a lot more because you can do 1-1-3 with it, 1-1-4, 1-2, and 1-2-1. It also is one cancelable. So you're generally going to want to use this button when you're kind of so close that you're no longer playing footsies and in their face. So you want to start pressuring them. You've either front canceled in or you're just in their face already. You can mix up 1-1, 1-2, stuff like that. So when you're in their face, that's when you're going to be wanting to use this button. Similarly with down 1. So this one's a mid and comes out 1 frame faster. This is his fastest button he has. So when you're kind of poking each other out, and once again in your face, and you need something really fast, down 1 is definitely the way to go. If it hits, then you're at band, you're at 17, so you can continue an overhead. You can go into here, you can stand 1, anything after it hits. But be careful, if they block it, then you're at disadvantage, you're -3 on blocks, so you gotta, you usually have to block afterwards because they're gonna press something. That's kind of how the poking game goes in this game. If you poke gets blocked, usually you're negative, and that's the case with him. Okay, so we'll go to his 2s. I don't really use stand 2 a lot. It also comes out in 9 frames, and only leads to that combo, which you can have brutality with that, but other than that, generally not that useful. Back 2, this can be held for a charge, and when fully charged, they crumple, and they go into a juggle state that you can kind of not really do much off of. I can't even, I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do after that, other than that. Which, that's pretty meaty damage for meterless, but no one's going to sit there and get hit by this. That's not even unblockable. So, you don't have to use this much, but you can always dash out of it. So, if you want to be tricky, you kind of can. Other than that, wouldn't really use it. Forward 2. This is his main combo starting button, because it leads him to forward 2-4. It allows you to juggle like that. So that's pretty good. Overhead, 15 frames. Wouldn't really use it to punish things, because you have this, but catch people, blocking low with this. And then his uppercut. It's pretty bad. So 9 frame startup, which is slow for an anti-air, and really negative on block, -17, so don't go throwing this out really ever unless you're going to anti-air somebody's jump in, and that's the only reason you should use it. just throwing it out willy-nilly in the neutrals is really reckless, and look at all this. Look how long I have to wait till I can block this. Really bad. So it comes out slow, has a really crappy hitbox too. I'm right next to him. And it misses. It looks... So... Yeah. Don't use the uppercut much. Unless you blatant jump-ins, you don't want to use it really. So now his threes. Stand 3. This is a high, and it's really slow startup. As you can see, 14, really negative on block. This is 15, to put that into perspective, and this is 14, so that's slow. You don't want to use it in the neutral. You only want to use it after you punch somebody and force them to block your 3-3-3 string. What's great about that is that it does the most chip damage of any of his strings. So that's the only time you want to use it. Back 3. This one hits as a mid. Also very slow at 17, even slower than this. So never just throw it out, because you're just going to get poked out. You're going to beat out every time. But once again, nut punch somebody, you can do stuff like that. It leads into this string. That's not particularly good when you already have, you know, stuff like this. So I wouldn't really use this too much, unless it is a mid, though. That's kind of the redeeming quality. So if you want to catch people trying to poke you out after you're doing stuff like this, you can. But really, you already have forward 3, which is the next button I wanted to get through. 11 frames, -8 on block. So what's great about this is, I didn't want to go straight into strings yet, but this is really important. So this button is one of your most important buttons, especially in this variation, because you run canceled, and this is what allows you to start combos. So you should never just be throwing it out raw with nothing else to it. You can do that, but what you want to do is shadow kick, run cancel, your forward 3 into the stuff, and you be really plus after. So when you're in footsies, you're throwing out forward 3. That's your main footsie tool. It's ridiculous range. And it's a mid, and it comes out 11 frames, which is really fast. For something with so much range and utility, it's really great. And we'll go into more of it later, but keep this button in mind. This is a great button. Then you have low kick, and hence is down 3, so 10 frames, -4 on block. Not really good. If you want to low poke it hits as a low, so you can, after, kind of get a few things going with 12 hit advantage. Usually I just use this. And the reason why this isn't that good is because this is so good. It's down 4, and I'll reach that next. So stand 4, back 4, forward 4, down 4. Okay. Most of these buttons you're not going to really be using. So stand 4, never just throw it out. After a nut punch, you can do stand 4 into shadow kick, run cancel, and you will be more plus than in any other string. So what's great about that is if I do this, that actually jails so that he should not, if you do it right, be able to reverse it off. Because you should be plus 20 off of that. So that's what that's for. This, I mean, so back 4, just like every sweep in the game, is pretty much just don't use it. Just don't use it. Just forget it exists. There's no use for it. Forward 4, just don't use it. This is another one of those buttons. Long startup, really bad on block. It's punishable. at minus 11 plus 13 startup. There's no use for it. Some people like to incorporate it in combos, but I only get it when it accidentally comes out. Other than that, I don't use it. Now, this button. This button here is what you want to use. Down 4. Only 2 frames, or 3 frames slower than down 1, which is pretty dang good for something so plus on hit. Plus 14 on hit. Oops, that's not it. Plus 22 on hit, that's right. And only minus 1 on block. So look at the range on that. Between this and this, you've got 2 really great footsies. And what's so great is if this hits, you can go right into forward 3 every time. And they have to block that. Like, there's nothing Kung Lao can do after he's hit with down 4 to get him out of that situation. He has to block after that. So it's fantastic. That's what I want to be seeing a lot of, is this. And what's also great is he lowers his hurt box. So when people are jumping in on you, you can down 4, and usually they'll whiff. Even mid projectiles whiff if you time this right. Stuff like Kano's knives that hit mid, you can down 4 underneath them a lot of times. So it's just, it's fantastic. It's this button is the only thing less important than this button, or more important than this button, is this button, forward 3. So keep that in mind. Now, jumping normals. Okay, so before I go into his jumping normals, just let everybody know, Johnny Cage has a really floaty and crap jump, so you shouldn't be jumping around because you have great footsies. You don't have to jump around. You have this, but there will be certain situations where you have to jump in, and I get that. So, let's get into it. So, jump 1 is usually what you want to use if you're going to jump in and actually go into a combo. Hitbox is kind of okay-ish, but really is crap, especially since look at this. And if Kung Lao ducks, if he just ducks, I have to delay it. If I throw it out too early, I'll just whiff. Look how bad this is. So, yeah, don't jump with Johnny Cage, but usually if you're going to jump into a combo, you want to jump 1, because jump 2 is 10 frames instead of 7, so that's way slower. So if you're jumping at somebody, it's pretty to throw out, although the hitbox is a bit better on it. What I do use jump 2 for is if I'm crossing someone up, I can usually catch them a bit easier than if I did jump 1. But as you can see, it's still pretty bad. But yeah, not as bad as this. I don't think I can even hit him. So, jump 3 I think is his best jumping button. If you're jumping in, I usually jump 3 because I can't risk this. But this will hit. Even if they're crouching, it's hard to anti-air. The frame data is pretty good, 7 frames. It's just as fast as this. So there's a lot of good things with it. And then jump 4. If you're jumping at somebody, don't use this. If you're crossing them up and you're like on top of their head, this will guarantee basically that you'll hit them. Because the hitbox is like kind of like a Street Fighter crossover hitbox. It hits like on his crotch basically. So it hits forward, in front of him, and behind him. I don't really ever use it though, but it's there.